Now, I wasn't exactly sure if I wanted to talk about this or not, but I was like, you know what? I'm just going to talk a little bit about this real quick. So, it's been popping up as of the last almost 24 hours now, but it's been circulating that rumors, mind you, rumors, that the Metroid Prime series is actually going to be coming on to the Nintendo Switch. Not talking about Metroid Prime 4 because we all know that that was announced pretty much like what 4 or 5 years ago. Like I think it was announced within the first year of the Switch, but we're not talking about that. We're specifically talking about the Metroid Prime 1, 2, and 3. Again, the original two games released on the GameCube, and then the third one was on the Wii, and then there was like a trilogy that you could buy all three of them in one shot. At least I'm pretty sure. I don't know if they just sold the third one and just had those two games included, or if there was a third separate. I can't remember it. It's been a while, but the one that I remember was just like you can buy the trilogy, and it's pretty pricey now. We'll get into all of that here in a second, but let's take a look see at this article. This one here comes from GameSpot, and Metroid Prime games are coming to Nintendo Switch. Let's see, we take a look here. Long last Metroid Prime trilogy is finally coming to Nintendo Switch. According to GameSpot, Nintendo is planning to release Metroid Prime Remastered this holiday season. More likely to match up with the 20th anniversary. I actually didn't know I didn't know the 20th anniversary was actually happening like this year. That's kind of crazy. Metroid's been around for 20 years. Jesus. I'm old, dude. I'm anytime I see shit like this, I just think like, damn, like all these franchises, all these wonderful franchises that like started way back when I was just a kid, when I was probably like 5 or 7 years old or some shit. Like I can't believe how far we've come. And apparently there's going to be a lot of improvements. So the idea of having the dual analog stick, because I don't think that was a thing on the GameCube, even though it had the C stick. I don't think they utilized it back then. But for like the Switch, they got like the gyro controls and motion controls, whatever you want to call it, and just to kind of help improve all of these games. And it makes sense when you think about it, because they say that they're going to have a release of each one individually. Again, that makes perfect sense because you can't stuff all of those onto a single cart, especially if you're going to be adding a lot of improvements like the visual clarity of the game itself, trying to get the frame rates up higher than what they were, the inclusion of all these different types of controls, the way you control the game. So that makes sense. And I actually think that's smart, as opposed to just probably stuffing everything on one cart, which is not really the case, because it would just be one game and then the other two that you would have to download on the eShop. And I know certain companies, Capcom, has really done that with a lot of their games too, and that kind of sucks. Throughout the Metroid series as a whole has seen something of a resurgence, with both Metroid Dread and Metroid Samus Returns. So really, those were just more of like a 2D based type of games. I never played Samus Returns, but I did play Metroid Dread. If you have a Switch and you have not played that game, you need to play that game. It is a fun game, very cool platformer. It's a fantastic game. You get so many abilities and so many like power-ups and all this stuff, like especially towards the end, and I don't want to say too much else about it, but it is a phenomenal game, fantastic platformer on the Switch, so definitely go get that. And let's see, and then they go and talk about the first three games all revealed critical acclaim, turning what was once a 2D series, right, into a 3D first-person game. So basically maintaining the exploration, heavy gameplay, and all the originals from basically the 2D style, but converting into a 3D style game there. So, and then Metroid Prime 4, as I just mentioned there, that was brought up so many years ago. But the problem was, and they even said it here too, is that having where is it? Metroid Prime 4 is currently in development for Nintendo Switch. Having been announced more than 5 years ago, the project was restarted over at Retro Studios in early 2019, and it's unclear when that's going to be released too. So there you go. There was also some other ones here, like from this one here was Nintendo Everything, and basically saying the same stuff here, where this source came from. They talk about it in here. And apparently, this person, I'm going to remain nameless, but it is right here. You can see it for yourself on screen. That this person has a history of leaking a lot of information. That's why I feel like I don't know if this is legit, or I don't know if like it is, but like we just don't know the release date for this, and what this person is saying is true. So yeah, that's all it really is here. Everything else is pretty much the same thing from the other article here, but and I wanted to really quick, I wanted to see some eBay listings for Metroid Prime Trilogy for the Nintendo Wii. And you can see this is the top of the list. I'm just on Buy It Nows for the Metroid Prime Trilogies. So, like, the first one here, 119, another 119, 125. This one here, like, with these stupid VGA graded bullshit, like don't buy this shit. It's just, maybe one day I'll talk about that one, but don't don't buy into this. Like, it is not worth that price. They're just, no, it don't. Just don't. Don't do it. For the love of God, don't do it. So, but continuing on here, like, look at this. A loose disc here is like going for 93. It's not that much less. It's got some other ones, 140 almost here, 200. You're asking way too much there, buddy. 140. Just the outside sleeve, $30. But you get my point. You know, so like 170, 130. It kind of fluctuates at this point. But yeah, the last time we seen this was on the Wii, and I'm going to use this as an example. I don't know if it, you can see that there. So the ultimate Metroid Prime experience with having all three of them on here, and you can see right on the back here where, you know, person's holding the Wiimote and nunchuck piece. So clearly, if they were incorporating the motion controls here for the Wii, you know that they're going to do that with this version on the Switch. So I think that's kind of interesting. I'm actually kind of excited to see how that's going to play out. Especially considering I just talked about this not too long ago in another video. I think it was the last video. Yeah, the last video, talking like basically how Nintendo's system, the Switch, is a very old system, or old hardware, excuse me. And I assume this will run just fine, because this is, after all, the first two games are GameCube, and then the third one was only on the Wii. But I would like to believe that they could make this work. So, and if that's one of their big games come this holiday season, it makes sense. Because I think the only other, like, brand new title that is going to be coming out around that time, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I think, isn't Bayonetta 3 coming out at the end of this year? I kind of lost track of that, considering with all the other games that are coming out. I definitely lost track of that one, but I think that's coming out at the end of this year, unless they pushed it back. I have no idea. I haven't kept up with that at all. A lot of people have been talking about this, or rather asking about it, because it's still one of the best Metroid games that they've really put out over the years. And a lot of people who want to try to get into those, they either have to play on original hardware via the GameCube or the Wii, ones that are backwards compatible, and buying those games specifically for the GameCube, or like I just showed you on screen here, getting one of those trilogy packs there so that you can play all three of them in one go. But, you know, the price, as you saw there, and not to even mention, like, with the GameCube ones, the Metroid Prime 1 and 2, the GameCube ones are up there too. Because I remember seeing a pickups video from somebody, and he showed the price of what he paid for on those, and they were like a little over $80 is what I remember seeing. Like somewhere between 80 and 90 is what it was. But like, it was crazy how much those games are starting to go up a little bit more. So it's either you pay a lot of money for buying the hardware you need to play those games, then the games themselves, and whatever else you need, you know, memory cards, obviously, and, you know, controllers that actually work. GameCube controllers are hard to find in good condition. And also, the other option would be to try to emulate it, but we all know what Nintendo's been doing, going after several websites to basically take all the stuff that's Nintendo related off of their site, because they're just, you know, throwing lawyers, you know, just all over the place, just trying to shut them down. So it's becoming harder and harder to try to find those. So unless you actually got those like a long time ago and you just have it on whatever external hard drive or something, then hey, have at it. So it would be kind of nice that Nintendo would give us something like this, and I know a lot of fans would be really happy about that. I mean, I know a lot of people have been begging for this sort of thing for years, and to really see this come out, and especially since Metroid Prime 4 is still, we have no idea what's going on with that thing. But that's all I wanted to talk about. Are you guys excited for it? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you on the next one.